Okay, um, I want to talk about the use of opera music into theater slash movement slash music workshops. That is, using storylines, not focusing so much on the scores this time, but the storylines from the protagonists' journeys into some sort of training, workshop, therapy session, as in somebody embracing and exploring a journey which is not theirs in theory but resembles what they could be living, and then the denouement of the journey could be an inspiration subconsciously for themselves. And I think it could be quite a good idea, because I think they do that a lot in theatre workshops, in that sort of therapy, to deal with some personality disorders, or some with some sort of like even simple depression stuff, like people who don't know how to approach themselves emotionally, how to express themselves, would find an outlet in that, because they wouldn't have to say I, they would have to sort of point at, this is what Aida is doing, this is what Norma is doing, and transferring one's lifestyle and one's life story onto somebody else's is often making it very, very much easier for somebody to express oneself and decide point by point what turn to take in life. I think that would make sense. Of course, you got the music, powerful music. I don't know, I think you might be able to use it with the musical theatre in some cases, because it's still that context of music and fun sort of movement. But I mean, obviously in a musical theatre, the movement is already drawn in the choreography most of the time, whereas in opera, the accent is more on the singing, isn't it, and the music, the orchestra. However, I think if you explore a certain type of layout for simple choreographies, you can actually draw out energies and draw out inspiration from people in that sense for their own life and their existential paths. I think that makes perfect sense, and I haven't got any sort of specific examples in mind, but I was thinking of Aida earlier, and I think Aida is got potentially a good example, in the sense that she's become quite independent and strong. There's the father figure, like in many operas, and that's also always an interesting sort of outlet. It's an interesting sort of subject. A father figure, the daughter figure, and also this independence that she's taking, the rebellion against her country. There's a tension because she has to go and express herself, find some kind of situation for herself without her father, and it's obviously a tragedy. But there's all this process and these procedures, those walks that somebody can actually embrace if they take the workshop. They have to explore the character, and you can have somebody explaining what's going on and what the music is doing, and ask questions. Why do you think Aida feels that way? Why do you think the father feels that? Why do you think the lover feels that way? Why is it? And pointed questions to actually mark, without wanting to sort of draw a result so much. You don't want to be too subjective, but because after that it becomes invalid. But you want, pointed questions and pointed exercises to get people to react. I think that's quite a good way to start. And the fact that this opera could be a little bit sophisticated, but I don't think it's more complicated for most minds, because you have to pre-digest it and draw roads if you like, movement-wise, and you don't have people singing, just acting and workshopping the space and workshopping the characters, the body language. Throughout this, actually expressing themselves. Really, it's a typical sort of a theatre workshop sort of context, but this time with music, because music works on a subconscious level, subliminal level too. So it really draws out quite a lot of things. And when it's well composed, like Verdi's music, it can be quite interesting. And I'm suggesting that it's not going to work on just about everybody, but on some personalities it could be quite effective. Especially people, I suppose, who are a bit more familiar with the art form of opera, I think. Anyway, just a suggestion or two. My name is Sandrine Thérion, and yeah, no comment. And so